Alright, I picked up the ultra rare golden gift box Fiend of Virgill armor. Wanted to test some poisons to see if I get it bug out with the heal based poison from the new katana that they rolled out a couple weeks back. But first, before I begin that, I'm gonna bring you a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by a new product called Smite's Viagra for men with small peepees. You know, Smite went years with struggling with a problem of his, and then he partnered with the Viagra, and they came up with a new formula to specialize in Viagra with men with small peepees. So stop by your local drugstore today and get Smite's Viagra for men with small peepees. Alright, I wanted to showcase some Buggy interactions with the new poison, the heal-based poison from the katana. I showcased one item before, but I want to re-show it and then talk about a combination here. Alright, so let's see here. So what I want to be able to do, obviously, because I used the darkness version, is see if we can get darkness to a little bit better place here. Alright, so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to showcase the basic poison from the Unlead leprechaun pet. Alright, so we've got 4 rounds. It was only at 0.65 power. So keep that in mind. It's 4 rounds. So we're going to go again. And then, so we had 0.65 power, and then we didn't go back to 4 rounds. So we left it at 3, so now the monster now it's at 2. But we went almost a full point in power. So now we're having 1.52 for 2 rounds. Let's see what happens here. Alright. So now we did not increase the number of rounds, but we increased the power all the way up to 4. So instead of maintaining the rounds and maybe slightly increasing the power, what's happening is seems to be bugging out and not increasing the rounds back to 4. It's like it's the total rounds plus the power. It should be, I guess, is kind of being rolled in to just the power. So what's happening is you're getting poison that is growing larger and larger. Okay? So that is the Buggy mechanic on display. And what happens is, so like if you were to do a 4-round poison and there's 3 rounds left, it won't grow in power as high as if there was 2 rounds left, which won't grow in power as high as if there was 1 round left. So the lower the rounds, then the higher the power will grow. So that's the Buggy interaction. And there's more than one item that does this. Yeah, let me flee here. There's not a good monster to do an example because of the low resistances. So what I'm going to do now is showcase some pretty crazy stacking. Now a lot of healing poisons have a mechanic built in that as the power grows, the heal amount drops, and most of them work this way. But with this particular setup, it's either not dropping at all. I haven't actually looked at the numbers. Come back and look. It either doesn't drop at all, or the amount it drops is not very much. I'm making it a worthwhile stack. So what I'm going to do, so I picked up the Fiend of Virgill. So one thing about this armor is it does plus 25% to all burns and poisons, It's not listed, so I guess it's you just have to trust that it's there. Then you have the darkness poison. This is a weapon-based attack. So 273 SP, I guess, for the magic version. Let's see what it is for ranged. 175. So pretty decent SP cost. But this is basically going to create a heal loop. A heal loop. So as you can see, I'm just going to eat my hit points because I'm telling you that the amount that I'll heal will end up being pretty crazy. So what I'm going to do here, I'll go ahead and do the poison potence here. I'll do creature 72. And then what I'll do is I'll just get the potence for panic here. I've got creature 72 on panic mode just to try to maintain the low damage as I do this demonstration. And then I'm going to switch over to the Blade of Elders. So the first round on the celerity, so you have to do the heal poison first. So we have the Crimson Rot. So it starts, in this case, it started off at 3.75. It does up to 5, it just depends on the number of hits landed. So it didn't land all the hits here. And then what I'm going to do now is this here, and this will bug out, and it went all the way up to a 9.75. And then this now is 12.3. See how much I heal from 1908 to 2289. So it's about 300 damage. Alright. So again, this time let's do Zfinity. Let's do another Shadow Feeder. So now that we have the Crimson Rot as the base, and we still have a round there, I'm not going to do Crimson Rot again. This time instead, I'm just going to do Poison Blade twice. So we got 12.34. Now it jumped to 30.46 power. I'm going to do it again. 48.46 power. And then the Unlead Leprechaun will go now 51, 56. So I just did 3,804 poison. The monster didn't have any hit points left, so I didn't really heal very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to combat practice here just so you can see the stack in practice now. So again, let's just go ahead and do 2 rounds of celerity up front this time instead of waiting for the second round here. Can do Zfinity. Keep in mind, if I need hit points, it's fine. I mean, if I need SP, it's fine if I'm using Essence Orb to eat my hit points, because I'll end up healing it back like nothing. So here we go. Set up Crimson Rot. So this time we got a 5 power. This time we're at 14 power. Unlead Leprechaun should increase it pretty good. So 19.18. So that right there was 1,200 damage. Just to show the demonstration, I'll just eat a shit ton of hit points here. So this time I'll just do 2 poison blades. It should should be in the 30s this time, 37.37. This is at 55. Once Unlead's done, it should be in the 60s. 60.54, 65. 5,000 hit points, full healed me from 330 something. So it's actually healing pretty close to that amount. I would I've thought about picking up the poison version of the GPS armor and testing it also, since it's probably a more powerful poison. And then, obviously you have, with that armor, you have to wield a darkness weapon to do it. I have a hunch that it'll work, because I now have 2 items that will bug out on top of the crimson rot. I think that's where the bug is. I want to show one more interaction. So what I'm going to do this time, if you remember, Necromancer has that status bomb, that part of it is a heal-based darkness poison. So let's see here. Again, you got to get your crimson rot first. And then I'll just attack here. So that was 400 and something, 500 heal there. And then just try to do Unleash Legion on top. So in this case, it actually added to the rounds. And I think in this case, the actual heal amount's going to be less. Let's see what happens here. So we have 17.21. So it's still bugging out by drastically increasing the power. So I've got 2,058 hit points, and that was about 1,100. So at 2,058 hit points, it healed me at least 900. So as you can see, it's actually healing really well, having used the Necromancer version of it. Let's see what we can end up with here. So now we're at 4492. 50. We're 2 more turns. 1,900 damage. So anyway, as you can see, using the Fiend of Virgill on top of the Crimson Rot, and then the Unlead Leprechaun, it's stacking that poison, and it's leading to, basically, you can full heal yourself. I've done it versus several monsters in testing. When I'm clearing my estate and stuff like that, you end up going to the next battle fully healed every time, almost every time. So anyway, it's a buggy interaction. If you have those items, again, Fiend of Virgill is an ultra rare, the katana is an ultra rare, and the Unlead Leprechaun is from Blarney, one of the older quests. And again, I may end up getting the poison GPS armor and test it also, and I'm thinking it's going to work. It may be actually a more powerful effect It's just the skill will be more expensive on SP, which is not a big deal because it's healing so much. But there you have it. If you just have some ultra rares sort of burning a hole in your pocket, you can always just get these items and just play around with them, at least until staff gets around to fixing these bugs.